Though that I think that's amazing that Hulk Hogan, out of all the people he lost to in the wrestling world, which is a very small, I bet you could count it on one hand, and yet you are on that hand of
And it's funny
Jacques
because
Rougeau.
you should have been there in the dressing room that night, because when I was in the dressing room that night, I had no idea what was going over.
Oh,
And when I said, no, no, not at all. I was going in to do the job. Even in Montreal, I was just so happy that he worked with me. It was just so notorious and prestigious to be in the ring with Hulk Hogan. So I wasn't in the same caliber as him. So when I got in the dressing room, but since I booked the show, I'm the one who booked Flair, Malenko, Eddie Guerrero. I booked the whole show. It was my card. I booked the show and asked for the cards that I wanted to. Ric Flair was on the card, and so I booked that show. So when we got in the dressing room, and the what was it called? Also, the Harlem Heat was in there too,
oh
and there
yeah.
was a lot of good talent, and that Eric Bischoff permitted me to take, from WCW. So when I got in the dressing room that night, we're all there, and out of nowhere, I come in the dressing room. I guess everybody knows it's my show. So when I come in the dressing room, it's like Hulk takes the word up and he stands up and he says, "Okay, brother." He says, "What are we doing tonight?" So I looked at him and I started laughing. Like he's asking me, like, what are we doing tonight? So funny. And then he says, "Brother, don't laugh. It's your show." He says, "How are you beating me tonight?" And then I really started laughing. Like I thought, that's funny, Hulk. That's really, really funny. "I'm serious, brother." He says, "It's your show." He says, "It's your time tonight." He says, "How do you want to beat me?" And then you could hear like a pin drop in the dressing room. All the boys are like, "Is this serious, or is this a rib?" You know? And you should have. It was an amazing night. So many things are amazing about that night. The fact that I decided to go out first because I wanted him to come out of, just, he's so great. And I just, out of respect, I told Hulk, I said, "I'm going to go in first. And so I went in first, and I had my Quebec flag and my Canadian flag, and there was like 18,000 people, and it's so amazing because I know the business. I'm a smart man in the business, and I go into the ring with my flags, and I didn't call the shot. 99% of the people were booing me in my hometown.
Hmm.
They were booing me, and I was the babyface. He was the heel. And when he came out, the roof, he was NWO, and he was
Right.
at the peak. And the roof just popped up. I never called a shot. What a slap in my face. And so what I did is I kept working the match as a babyface, and him, he kept cheating, kept cheating. And at the end of the match, when I did the small package, because I beat him with the small package, about 60, 70% of the people cheered for me. I went and I gained them back. It's like I regained them back. And when I left, and it's so funny because when I got back to the dressing room that night, I came in the dressing room, all the boys were gone. There was nobody left in the dressing room after my match. It's like nobody wanted to be there, or nobody watched the match, or nobody whatever. But it was funny. And when I left the building, this is the most memorable time for me in my whole life. For me, when I go up there, I'm going to bring this with me. And I want my kids to remember this. I don't know what the lesson will be, but they bring this with me. Uh, you know what? When you come out of the Molson Center, where the hockey players come out of the building, there's a big door, and the match is all over. When it's been over for a half hour, so now I'm coming out the ramp to come out, and the door opens, and there's about I don't know, there's thousands of people, and they're blocking the way, and they're going, "Hogan, Hogan, Hogan," and I'm going like, "Holy shit!"
Uh,
And then I start coming out my door, but they won't move. So with my car, I start pushing them slowly like this, coming out, pushing the people, going up the ramp. And next thing you know is the door shuts behind me, the door of the building. And I felt like I got scared. I got really scared. And I looked around, my wife was beside me, and something crazy happened. I just turned around, I looked at my wife, and don't ask me where that came from. I looked at my wife and I told her, I said, "Lock the door behind me." And I opened my door and I pushed the people in my door. So the people were surprised when I pushed the door, and like my wife couldn't believe that I did that. It was too late. I was gone. And when I got out of there, I went like this. And as soon as I got out of that car, I went like, and I went and I grabbed the guy's paper, and then I grabbed a pen and I wrote my name down. And then another paper showed up, and then another paper showed up. And then you wouldn't believe, I swear to God, may lightning strike me dead. About 2 minutes later, the whole people were screaming, "Rougeau, Rougeau, Rougeau."
that's
I swear to God, that should be in a movie.
a beautiful story.